Yes, ma'am. We are live on YouTube as well as on Zoom. Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the live session of the course Stress Management. Our course instructor, Dr. Shubhra Sinha, ma'am, is with us. Kindly join directly on Zoom and ask your course, ask the doubts related to the subject. And then we have received few queries from 5 of our students. First, we will start with those questions. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Very good afternoon to all the participants and the support staff here with us. I have received 8 questions through the Google form circulated amongst the participants. And the first question comes from Deepthi, and she is a student. She asks, what are some effective ways to handle exam-related anxiety and performance pressure? A complementary question with this is, does comparing ourselves with peers increase scholastic stress unconsciously? Okay, Deepthi, being a student, this is a very valid and genuine query that you have raised. So let me elaborate this process. First of all, we should analyze why we feel pressure during examination time. If I ask this question to you and request you to introspect yourself sincerely and honestly, you will find that most of us are anxious of the evaluation that we usually face during examination. The anxiety and pressure is related to the grades that we are likely to receive, the possibilities of passing the examination or not passing it sometimes, and thereafter the future consequences of these things. Apart from that, we also get anxious if we feel that our relative position in the classroom group is not going to be the way we have thought it should be. So basically, at all levels, the problem is evaluation and usually having a higher expectation that we are likely to receive. In order to get rid of this anxiety, I would suggest that kindly make a reasonable and practical expectations from yourself. Many times we fix very high goals in spite of knowing that we haven't prepared throughout the year so thoroughly that we can really score 95% or 99%. Still, we hope for it because the target or the excellence standards are given to us by our parents, by the society, by the relatives, by the cousins, by the siblings that we are having. I won't say that these pressures are not real, but when you are in this process, do an honest analysis of your preparation and fix up a reasonable standard for yourself. It may be 80%, 85% instead of 99%, but keep it reasonable, keep it nice, which can satisfy your academic goals, your academic aspirations, as well as which is like attainable for the time. When you correct your expectation, when you fix up feasible goals for yourself, you are done half because it reduces the kind of pressure you feel, the burden you feel over yourself. The next important thing is, ideally, we should do preparation throughout the semester. It allows us enough time and space to concentrate upon our studies, to clarify the doubts, to do regular self-assessments, or to participate in the formal assessments conducted in the class. But because of any reason, if we fail to do so, and now there is very less time left to complete the preparation of the examination. Again, we should switch to a strategic planning and smart work. Means review the question papers of old semesters, Then mark the portions from which maximum questions are being asked. Prepare those portions first. Try to focus your preparation so as to include maximum topics, and only a few topics should be remaining, should be left without preparation when you appear in the examination. Don't forget to take breaks. I also mentioned in my course that whenever you study, a nice strategy is to study with full concentration for 25 minutes, then a 5 minutes break in which you can just get up from your chair, you can have a nice walk, or you can see out through your window, or maybe drink a glass of juice, whatever you like. Repeat 2 or 3 cycles like this. Take a long break. This will help you remain focused on your studies. If you keep studying for long period of time without taking break, without taking refreshments, this actually reduces your capacity to prepare. Your brain is not able to concentrate there. So time management is an important thing. Focus on all is equal. Okay. So these are the some practical tricks that you can try. Moreover, don't forget to write your answers while preparing for examination. When you write a few topics, you get to know that how much prepared you are actually, how much you have learned through the readings that you are doing. It gives a very nice way to assess yourself, as well as it tells you how rapidly you can write the answers. Many times students miss a few questions because their speed of writing is slow. Don't forget, we are reading, we are learning, we are memorizing things for days and days without writing anything. So speed of writing is also compromised. We should work on that also. If you give yourself a chance to write your answers and then review them, or you can also consider these things with your teachers or your peers, they can give you nice inputs about how to improve the structure and content of your writings. So these are some practical tips. Apart from that, take healthy food, keep yourself hydrated, and minimum 8 hours sleep is must during examination. Don't try to study for 20 or 22 hours per day. This will ultimately lead you to a risk of collapse in your examination. Okay? Now I'm coming to your second part question. That is, does comparing ourselves with peers increases scholastic stress unconsciously? Well, it may increase. Most of the time, when we start comparing with our peers with respect to the number of hours spent to the study, or how many books they are reading, how much portion of the syllabus they have already covered and we haven't done so, what kind of percentage they are obtaining in their last examinations, and we are still lagging behind them. These kind of comparisons definitely increase the pressure. So the better strategy is compare yourself with yourself. If you have obtained, say, 7.5 CGPA in your last examination, try to increase it up to 8.0 this time. Now, this gives you a chance to improve without getting into undue comparisons. However, I won't suggest that you stop comparing yourself with others completely. Why I'm saying this? See, in competitive examinations or in any kind of competition, your relative positioning matters. Means how much you have scored with relation in relation to the other people who are competing, right? So just closing your eyes from the world is not the solution. Instead of that, we should carefully select the aspects on which we should compare ourselves with the peers, like what kind of reference books they are reading. If our reference books are falling behind theirs with respect to the quality or coverage of the content, we should improve. What are the strategies they are using while preparing? If I find something interesting, something useful in their strategy, I can learn that too in order to enhance my own performance. So, instead of saying that please do not compare yourself with your peers on any of the things, which is not practically possible and I will not recommend it also, I would say that compare yourself with others on certain aspects that you carefully choose. And of course, not in terms of the marks obtained or the percentages or the CGPAs. This will definitely increase your scholastic stress. So this was my answer to Deepti. Hope this will help. Coming to the next question, which comes from Mr. Kuldeep Chaturvedi. He is also a student, and his question is, why do certain situations cause stress for some people but not for others? Well, Kuldeep, if you have gone through the lectures which I have posted on the course, you will find that in initial weeks, I discussed about the perspective of stress known as transactional perspective. This transactional perspective suggests that feeling of a stress is an outcome of the interaction between the individual and the environment. Now, when you take individual and environment coming in contact and in interaction with each other, both of them come with their own characteristics. Individuals have their own characteristics, their motives, their intentions, their competence, their experiences, their learning, the maturity level, everything with them. Similarly, the environment also encompasses certain opportunities, certain limitations. What happens that whenever the two come in contact with each other and start interacting, there may be certain situations for which I am very much equipped. I have the competencies which are required to handle the situation. I have the experience. I know how to deal with these things. I have the correct set of attributes with me that will help me navigate through the situation. But at the same time, there may be other situations which are tougher for me because I lack the required characteristics to solve that situations or problems or conflicts. Similarly, some environmental problems can appear very easy to me because I have enough resources or support systems to deal with them, or the outcomes or the consequences of failing in those situations are not very important for me. For others, the same situation can be very tough because he or she may not be having that kind of resources or the support system, or the consequence of failing is very, very difficult to handle for them. So basically, it is the interaction between the person who comes with a unique set of characteristics and the situation, the environment, which has, of course, its own challenges and supports. Both coming in contact, both interacting with each other and making certain situations difficult for some people, which creates stress for them, whereas easy for others, and they experience either very less stress or no stress at all. So individual difference is the key, the answer to your question. The third question comes from Amit Yadav, again a student, and he asks, How can mindfulness practices help in improving coping skills? Well, Amit, you have raised a very important point, a very valid question. Before I explain how mindfulness helps coping, I would like to elaborate the concept of mindfulness a little bit. See, mindfulness is your awareness, your momentary awareness of your body, mind, and the environment. When we become aware, we also have to accepting at the same time. We are not struggling with the emotions, we are not struggling with the feelings, the thoughts that we are experiencing. Rather, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to observe these emotions, these thoughts, these behaviors as an objective person, as a third person. Suppose two people are doing something and you are standing nearby and watching them without getting involved in the situation. If we are capable of doing this, we are practicing mindfulness. So there are two key aspects. The first one is self-awareness, and the second one is acceptance. This leads us to a state called decentering. Decentering means we are witnessing our emotions, we are witnessing our thoughts without getting involved in it, like a third person is observing, no connections. And also, we keep in mind that all these things are temporary, they will pass by, they are not permanent. So, we are not going to attach our self concept with the kind of emotions that we are feeling right, with the kind of thoughts which are wandering in our minds right now. Our self is different from all these things. Once you attain this state of mind, it helps to control your emotions to a great extent. And when the emotional lability is settled down, you become better able to analyze the situation as well as yourself, which is called primary appraisal and secondary appraisal. When you do an honest appraisal, you can find out the strengths, the resources, the support systems that you can utilize to handle the situation in a better way. Moreover, a calm and composed mind allows you to think innovative solutions, the solutions which are unconventional and perhaps can pay you better as compared to the age-old conventional solutions for the problem. So mindfulness really helps us to cope with the situation in a better way. It helps you restructure the situation cognitively and also manage your emotions so that you can arrive at creative and novel solutions to the challenging situation. Okay, Amit, hope this will help. Next set of questions, what I have received, comes from Mr. Bhanu, and he mentions himself as a self-employed person. He has shared 4 different questions with us, which I'm going to take up one by one. So the first question that I have received from Mr. Bhanu is, how do we figure out what our own stress tolerance level is? Well, the stress tolerance means the level of a stress that we can handle without getting impaired psychologically and behaviorally as well. So the very simple way of identifying whether a particular situation is within the level of our stress tolerance or it is exceeding our levels is to look at yourself and try to find out the signs of stress. If you are feeling that your mind is full of multiple thoughts, through which you are not able to navigate properly. If you feel that your heart is really beating fast, you are sweating, there is an uncommon sensation in your body, you are in a state of mind which can be called confusing. You are not able to focus on the task, concentrate on your daily routines, not interested in talking to people who are around you. You may be in a state of anxiety or stress. Once you realize that you are in a state of stress, try to analyze the situation you are in, what you are doing, what are the challenges in front of you right now, how many support systems are available, how many challenges are there, how many people are there who are making the situation difficult for you. When you analyze the situation at the point where you feel anxious or stressed, you will get to know the exact scenario which is making you stressful. Now compare the situation before some time when you were not that much stressed. What was the structure of that situation in which you were relaxed? Try to compare the two situations and find out what aspect of the situation has been changed and to what extent. This will tell you about your own tolerance level, means the level up to which you can tolerate the stresses, you can handle the challenges, you can navigate through the complex situations, you can resolve conflict, and the level where you find yourself not able to do it so efficiently. So carefully monitoring your own self as well as the situation can help you find your own stress tolerance level. Moving on to your second question, which was, does our ability to handle stress get better on its own with time, or we have to work on it consciously? Well, our ability to handle stress get better with time. That is true. But it doesn't mean that we are not doing anything up for this. Maybe we are not doing it consciously. But what happens that whenever you see people improving with time, you ask them, what have you done? And they say that nothing is special. It is just with time that the things get better. What happens? We carefully observe others. We find our own situations. We try to look for the strategies, maybe unconsciously. Sometimes we are not aware of the thing. But something which appeals, we adopt that, we start practicing that, and then we find ourselves better able to cope with the situation. Because the whole process happens so automatically, we are not able to mention exactly what we have done. However, a small part of the coping skills can be improved this way. For a larger share, I would say that we must work on it actively and regularly. Every day we need to add something to our coping paradigm. Every day we need to practice these skills, one or the other, in different kind of situations. This will make a big change in the ability to cope with a varied and more intense situations of stress also. So, of course, the coping skills get better with time, but these betterments or improvements are very less as compared to what is required. I would suggest work on it actively and regularly. Next question that you have sent to me is, how can we tell which defense mechanism we are using? Well, Mr. Bhanu, speaking honestly, when a person uses defense mechanism, he never knows that he is actually using a defense mechanism. For him or her, the behavior is very genuine, the behavior is very honest and it comes out spontaneously. Because defense mechanisms are also a part of human behavioral repertoire as other coping mechanisms. Because we observe others mostly using defense mechanisms, those mechanisms become the obvious choice of dealing with the situation for us also. So it is difficult for a person to do it unless and until the person is honest and sincere enough and do a very sincere introspection. If I introspect sincerely, if I try to dig out the purest and the most honest feelings that I have towards something or someone, if I start challenging myself about why I have these kind of thoughts and feelings about what I have done so far to deal with them and about the effectiveness of those actions through the consequences that I have met, unless I do that, I won't be able to identify the defense mechanism. Others may be better able to do. Okay? So if you want to understand your own defense mechanisms, introspect here. The next part of your questions is whether using defense mechanisms regularly can be harmful in a long run. Yes, of course, it is harmful in the long run. Because whenever you use defense mechanisms, you are doing certain kind of distortion to your thoughts, your feelings, and your perception of yourself as well as the world. So if anybody gets habituated of doing these kind of distortions and denials, obviously this will be harmful for the person in the long run. I would rather request a very limited use of such defense mechanisms, that too contextually, not for a long time, of course. So these were the questions asked by Mr. Bhanu. And now I am moving towards the last question, the eighth question sent to me by Ms. Sakshi Pandey, again a student. She asks, why does social media often make people feel anxious? And what are some practical strategies to reduce digital stress without completely going offline? Very relevant question for Gen Z and, of course, the 21st era. We all are connected to social media in one way or the other. The social media, on one hand, provides many benefits to us, and on the other hand, it causes a lot of trouble for us also. If you analyze the situation, people are using social networking sites predominantly. They want to keep their activities publicly available through their posts so that they can get some social approval, some appreciation. Sometimes they also ask for the solutions of their own difficulties. Sometimes they want to discuss things with others through blogs and things like that. So overall, what happens in social media is we post something which is mostly related to ourselves or something which we find important, and then we receive feedbacks from others. The anxiety of social media starts at this point only. What kind of responses or feedbacks we are getting from others will make us anxious. Suppose if we are getting no responses at all. I posted some selfies, I posted certain things in my WhatsApp status, and nobody reacted. Nobody saw it, nobody read it. Obviously, it is going to be very disappointing for me. I may get into stress because I wanted others to see that I created that content, that post, that picture with a lot of effort and passion, but nobody actually noticed that. So it comes to me as a failure of my whole endeavor, and I feel stressed. The second thing is that others may react to it, but too negatively. They can share comments and remarks which are like, oh, what is this? I didn't expect this to happen. So these kind of feedbacks and remarks are also stressful. A very unique type of stress is created when we start accepting the visuals that we see on social media or in reels as true and real reflection of somebody's life. See what we see on social media screen, whatever the posts and blogs and reels or short videos, they are the outcome of a very carefully edited uh, piece. The video is shot very carefully with a lot of effort. Maybe certain retakes might have been taken, then editor worked on it, and the final piece was then uploaded on the YouTube, on social networking sites, on WhatsApp, and whatnot. When I assume these things to be true, and I assume people living the same kind of life which has been portrayed in the social media, I start comparing myself to their life. I start comparing the hardships of my life with the ease, the pleasure, the achievements of others, the way they are shown in these social media sites. It instantly puts me under a great pressure and I start feeling depressed. I start feeling stressed due to this undue social comparison. So the key to reduce social stress is do not post anything for the sake of feedback only. You share things with people for the purpose of infotainment, that is fine. You are happy to create the content, you are happy uploading it, you derive pleasure doing these activities, till there it is fine. But the moment whole happiness is contingent upon the number of likes or subscriptions that you get, the stress starts. So don't go much afterwards. Moreover, stop taking the content as being the real life scenario of the content creator. The person who appears very happy in a video may be having a lot of difficulties in their life, in their family, at their homes. So, one must not make comparisons based on what is presented in front of you on social media and what you actually have. So that's my answer to your question, Sakshi. With this, I finished all the 8 questions that I received from the participants. If there is anyone else left with his own question, the participant is welcome to ask.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering those queries raised via Google Form in a very elaborative manner with a lot of examples. Three participants are here on Zoom directly. Let us ask one by one, ma'am, whether they have any queries. Dr. Preeta, do you have any questions?
Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, sir. It was a
Good afternoon.
pleasure to hear ma'am's videos. It was really very nice. I enjoyed every bit of it, ma'am. Thank you so much. I have not any doubts in the subject as concerned, but I did not get my hall ticket. And I also want to know if it is a pen and paper exam or multiple choice exam.
Well, as far as the structure of the examination is concerned, I posted on the discussion forum also that this is going to be a multiple choice type of question paper. Okay.
Okay,
As far
okay.
as the hall ticket is concerned, I guess Mr. Murli would be better able to answer.
Yes, ma'am. Usually, hall tickets will be emailed to the participants who have registered for the examination 1 week prior to the examination.
Okay, sir.
So
Okay.
hopefully you will be,
Okay.
yeah,
It is on
email.
24th, I know, but since
Yeah,
I've not
so
yet got, and then we have the Diwali holidays in between. That's why I
Right.
was a little bit worried. Um,
Okay.
but
Definitely.
it was very nice, ma'am, to hear you. The topics and the way you delved into each of those topics were really very lovely, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you so much, Dr. Pritha. It's a pleasure interacting with you. Hope you will be there with us for the whole course.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Preeta ma'am, hopefully you will be getting the hall ticket between 15th and 18th of October.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Now let us move on to the next participants. Mr. Gorachan Sarkar, do you have any question for ma'am?
Actually, ma'am, I want to thank you for your excellent. I could have any doubt about the course materials or anything else, but I want to know about the examination pattern. On 24th, we are going to sit for the examination, and I want to know one thing: will there be any negative marking in the examination?
No negative marking for choosing the wrong answer, sir. And it is, as ma'am said, it is of objective type. MCQ questions you will be getting.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any
Thank you.
specific doubts you have, sir? Any subject specific doubts you have, sir?
No. It is excellent. It is excellent. I want to thank Dr. Shubhra Sinha for her excellent offerings to us. We are
Thank you.
grateful to her. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your appreciation. Now let us move on to the next participant, Shubhra Agrahari.
Sir, actually, she is the TA of this
Oh,
course.
okay, ma'am. Okay. Sure, ma'am. So we have covered almost all the questions, ma'am. In that case, we don't have any more queries. Would you like to discuss anything in general, ma'am, related to the subject?
Well, I just want to say this, that make use of this lecture or the course in your real life. This is something that you learn and you apply. Unless you apply it in your daily life, in situations that you encounter regularly, you won't be benefited up to the level you should. So please do not confine it to the examination only. Rather, whether you appear in examination or not, what you are getting in that examination, it's a different thing. But I hope all of you applying these takeaways in your real life and may be better able to manage your stress.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
So one student is in waiting room. He is joining. I admitted. Can we wait for a minute, ma'am? Just in case if that particular participant is having any doubt. Yes, ma'am. It is showing joining. So let's wait for a minute, ma'am. I think that student left, ma'am.
Okay.
Can we conclude the session, ma'am?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for getting associated with my course and going through it so sincerely. We can
Thank you so
conclude.
much, ma'am, for this live doubt clearing session. It was very, very informative and helpful. And we hope our learners watch this recording event and benefit from it. Thank you, everyone. See you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.